Has the enigma of Oumuamua been resolved at last? One major question has dominated the intergalactic visitor since its discovery 7 years ago. What on earth is it? Experts are perplexed by the enigmatic flying object's ability to accelerate astonishingly after passing the Sun, even though it is occasionally believed to be a comet and other times an asteroid. There is even conjecture that Oumuamua is an extraterrestrial spacecraft due to this unexplained acceleration. It was said by renowned Harvard professor Avi Loeb, not by us. Astronomers now think they have discovered the true cause of Oumuamua's sudden acceleration, and it has little to do with exotic research missions or extraterrestrial civilizations. Robert Warwick achieved a major milestone in modern space exploration on October 19, 2017, when he discovered an object in the solar system that was obviously interstellar in origin. Nevertheless, the early enthusiasm soon gave way to a great deal of confusion. No researcher understood what we were working with because of the object's peculiar and odd features. Experts initially believed the interstellar visitor to be a comet and named it Oumuamua, which means leader or scout. This conclusion was quickly disregarded, nevertheless, as subsequent observations failed to detect any cometary tail or coma. As a result, the astronomical turnaround happened just 1 week after the discovery, and Oumuamua was now classified as an asteroid. Was the case resolved then? Actually, the object did exhibit flight behavior that defied all known asteroid patterns, so it wasn't actually that bad. One thing at a time. Oumuamua was already returning to interstellar space when it was found on October 19th. On September 9th, scientists determined that it had already passed perihelion, the point at which it is closest to the Sun. After approaching our mother star by 37.6 million kilometers, the object did something that left scientists absolutely perplexed. When Oumuamua moved away from the Sun again, it traveled a bit quicker than the force of gravity alone would have permitted, according to the orbit analysis, which in detail showed a strange acceleration. Experts were therefore unavoidably forced to answer the question of what caused this sudden acceleration. The first reason put out was the outgassing of volatile components. This is not surprising because when a body is burned to extremely high temperatures, a process like this happens. However, there was a minor but important catch to this assumption. Outgassing often results in a notable alteration in rotational behavior, which was not discernible in the case of Oumuamua. The mystery grows more complex. Experts then focused almost all of their available telescopes on the interstellar visitor in an attempt to reveal the true origins of Oumuamua. During this process, they also discovered that the object is prone to very large brightness variations, suggesting that it has the shape of an enormous cigar. However, the information gathered at the time was not enough to reconcile the brightness changes indicated above with appropriate rotational behavior. Because of this, it seems like Oumuamua lurches across space rather than rotating around one of its main axes. The fact that no dust was found in the object's near vicinity was equally perplexing. Scientists therefore concluded that it might be made entirely of metal and does not contain water. Because there was no concrete evidence, specialists once more had to make educated guesses about the precise dimensions. Different dimensions are obtained depending on the reflectivity, density, internal tensile strength, and axis of rotation parameters. Therefore, it is possible that Oumuamua is only 100 meters long or 800 meters. The hazy method only implies that the object's direction of origin is somewhere in the constellation Lyra. Scientists have not yet offered a definitive response on the matter. Oumuamua was reclassified as a comet shortly after being designated as an asteroid, although not all researchers agree with this classification. According to the findings of other investigations, the object is more likely to be made of frozen hydrogen or possibly nitrogen ice fragments that were formerly blasted out of an exoplanet similar to Pluto. It could be much more contentious, but so far, so conservative. In fact, Harvard scientist Avi Loeb took a somewhat different approach to the Oumuamua conundrum, speculating that we might be dealing with an artificially manufactured object rather than a natural one. Is Oumuamua a spacecraft from another planet? You wouldn't exactly describe Avi Loeb as an uncontroversial astrophysicist. He asserted, for instance, that he had discovered enigmatic items at the Pacific Ocean's bottom that would point to, I quote, extraterrestrial technology, This is more precisely in reference to hundreds of interstellar mini-spheres that Loeb says he found among meteorite debris. The purported alien mummies that were shown before the Mexican Parliament in September 2023 are likely also a memory for you. Who did you think was live-streamed from Harvard to cover the hunt for alien objects in the solar system and atmosphere? In light of this, Loeb's remarks regarding Oumuamua are also not very shocking. In fact, it might be a manufactured item from a society beyond Earth. The attributes expected of a very thin object with a high surface area would be fully matched by the observed acceleration and the absence of dust generation. Based on this, Loeb hypothesized that Oumuamua might be a solar sail, a body driven by the sun's or another star's radiation pressure. You're mistaken, though, if you believe that the rest of the scientific community instantly rejected Loeb's comments as complete bullshit. Indeed, at least the prospect of an artificial origin was not completely ruled out. In order to look for possible signals of artificial origin, the radio telescope at the Green Bank Observatory in West Virginia happened to shift its sight to Oumuamua. However, the alien enthusiasts were met with the dismal news a few weeks later. There was no sign of artificial signals. The specialists were forced to search for alternative, more plausible explanations for acceleration as technical drives seemed less plausible. The reassuring news that astronomers had successfully solved the puzzle surrounding our interstellar guest did not circulate until March 2023, despite the fact that Oumuamua was spotted in October 2017. Since solar sails and extraterrestrial civilizations are merely theoretical models and considerations that provide a tenable solution but have not been directly proven in Oumuamua, at least some alien hope is still left for the more alternative camp, even if the corresponding explanation has nothing to do with them. Nevertheless, it is evident that no scientist has ever observed a comet that is accelerating in such an odd manner as Oumuamua and does not have a dust coma. However, it is also evident that Jennifer Bergner and Daryl Seligman have been able to reconcile the peculiar conditions with a logical hypothesis. The specialists believe that hydrogen propulsion is the solution to the Oumuamua question. Anyway, after reviewing a number of lab tests from the 1970s to the 1990s, the two arrived at this conclusion. These experiments demonstrated that powerful cosmic radiation may cause water ice to break down into molecular hydrogen, and that the radiation actually cooks an item traveling through the interstellar medium. Given this, it would seem logical to believe that Oumuamua likewise produced hydrogen. However, there is an issue with the idea that the speed boost following Oumuamua's orbit around the Sun should have been explained by the hydrogen not escaping into space right away. Thankfully, Bergner and Seligman also had a workable answer for this. At first, the hydrogen was still stuck in the ice's pores. This is anything but unlikely, according to theoretical estimates, as the majority of the hydrogen created in the ice under interstellar circumstances is still trapped in the water matrix. Only when the frigid prison warms up to -258 to -133 degrees Celsius does this alter. However, the water ice stays amorphous as long as this temperature limit is not surpassed. It only crystallizes when it reaches the proper temperature. According to the theory, the sun's rays burned the outer crust of Oumuamua as it entered our home system, changing the structure of the water ice. The extremely volatile hydrogen gas was able to escape through the pores in the ice that were created during this process. This also explains why the outgassing was invisible to scientists on Earth. Spectroscopic analysis was unable to identify the molecular hydrogen. Therefore, from a strictly optical perspective, unlike the typical comet outgassing, the flying object did not appear to have a coma or a recognizable tail. Additionally, there would be no substantial dust creation from hydrogen escape, and even if there had been dust in the ice matrix, it was probably not taken away by the outgassing. All of this sounds excellent, but might the unexpected speed spike of Oumuamua also be explained by this unique type of outgassing? Indeed, it does, as long as the object is reasonably small. Outgassing is unlikely to significantly affect flight behavior for a comet that is several kilometers in size. However, the mechanism might have produced enough thrust to initiate the observed acceleration if the cigar-shaped object was just 100 meters long and 20 meters thick. You may now generate sufficient force to initiate your click on the subscribe button. Join our community to ensure you never miss another one of our videos. See you shortly.